What did I miss?
Not much apart from Zola getting into 5th. Fiend's picked up a couple of penalties. Zola's just gone fast as that.
Yeah, on my end, it just suddenly shut down like the race had completed, and then it disconnected me altogether, so.
Also, it's good. I'm pretty sure I've got it up once or twice previously.
Alright, broadcast is going again.
Yeah. I think one thing drivers need to be taught is how to manage their ERS properly.
A lot of them will do the thing like I do, I guess, and just leave it on the entire day.
Pretty much.
Yeah, I believe it. Alright, well, Fiend and Hazel just made contact, and the McLaren is right there of Collie Boy.
Oh.
And I don't know how Fiend got away with that, but he did.
Yeah, I was like, Collie Boy should not be getting in the way like that.
I mean, Collie Boy went as wide on the outside as he could to let the leaders by, but Fiend saw an opportunity and lunged against Hazel to take it. Oh, and Oz's just had an incident there. And that's a virtual safety car, as Oz's had an incident. I think Ryan Hurricane may have had one as well.
Yeah, so I think we can't afford to be having silly incidents like that when it comes to blue flags especially.
Alright, so now the question is, because both Fiend and Hazel are in front of Collie Boy, there's going to be nothing but clean air for a while for these two. Can Fiend attempt to muster another charge against Hazel? He has the speed to fight with him. On single lap pace, I think Hazel has the advantage, but on overall pace, I think Fiend may have Hazel beat. Still waiting to get back to green. No one is taking the virtual safety car as a chance to come back into the pits. So a lot of drivers think they can go even farther on the mediums, and this is too early to make another stop at this point. But this will continue to work out in Zola's favor, because mind you, Zola isn't even a full 10 seconds out of the lead. He's only, well, he's closing a little bit too close to Starfish. He needs to open that gap back up or he'll get penalized. But he's less than 2 seconds away from Starfish, so he should be able to make something happen. And Stone Shuffle gets a penalty for speeding under the safety car, so he'll have to do a drive-through.
That's our second drive-through of the day. And there comes that. Oh my goodness! What on earth was that? That was Hurricane and Flavor, I believe it was, on the exit of the last corner.
That was a bizarre scenario, to say the least. Well, now the focus goes back to your race leaders, Hazel and Fiend. The gap is currently at about 2/3 of a second. Fiend closes it in, but Fiend struggles to get to get closer than about half a second to Hazel, and he'll need to be closer to that if he wants to make it work. And Ozda, another spin, this one on fresh rubber. So Ozda might be at the risk of going a lap down if this continues for him. Fiend to the inside of Hazel. With the DRS, I think he might be able to get him. We're going to be side by side through one, side by side through two. Someone's going to have to back out sooner or later, and it's going to be Hazel. So Fiend finally takes the lead today.
Now the big question is, can he start pulling away because of, to try and...
No, he can't, because Hazel just dived back to the inside. Contact! And Fiend still has it for now, but Hazel's not letting him get away.
Yeah, so that's a case you want to... That's a case of, if you want to keep this lead, you are going to work for it. Hazel is going to have the DRS down the back straight, but he's not close enough to make anything of it.
Most of the field's gotten relatively spread out, but Calzoner and Dave Ewart are having a little bit of a fight as Dave has gotten by the Williams. So Dave is now just one spot out from contained for points. But the real interesting thing is still going to be this battle for the lead, because Hazel is going to be close enough, and Fiend just spun out the lead!
And that's a full safety car. It's a full safety car because Astor's gone. Astor's lost it on the exit turn 2.
He's not the only one. TIR Flavor just had an incident as well in Sector 2. And that's, so Hazel's teammate Ozda goes completely off circuit and dies. That was a very interesting place to do it, but another full course safety car. I have to wonder, will drivers take this time now to go ahead and pit or not?
I think this is probably the most opportune time for those that are on the mediums to...
Stone Shuffle's making a stop.
Yeah, I think he's taking advantage of the safety car. He's getting rid of those mediums. Question is he going to go on to another set of mediums, or is he going to try and go for hards to the end? See what he's got. No, he's going for another set of mediums. This looks like it's going to be a 2-stop for him today. If he can get those tyres to last, he might get away with using a set of softs at the end.
Someone else just have another incident there in Sector 2. Yes, Fiend, another spin in Sector 2.
Oh,
anyways, Ozda has just joined the party with us. Ozda, go ahead, include your audio. What happened out there that took you out of the race?
Well, I was I was quite high up, and then I had a spin and all that sort of stuff. But what took me out was basically there's a wheel glitch where it moves on its own, and I had that throughout the whole race. I was coping fine with it, but then that time it caught me out, and we caught the gravel, spun the rears, and went straight into the wall. So yeah, not a very good display today.
Alright, well, it's a shame. Do you think you'll be able to put on better runs in the main season itself?
I'm not too sure until they fix this game with the sound between wheel grips. I'm not too sure. I don't even know if I want to compete until then. So yeah.
Well, if it makes you feel any worse, it's EA. I wouldn't have too much when it comes to high expectations for fixing stuff. So.
Yeah, well, I hope it gets fixed, but yeah, it's just yeah, it just is what it is.
Well, anyways, that's the word from Ozda as we are under our second safety car. Hazel, Elephant Starfish, and XRRL Fiend all elected to come into the pits. Hazel made the interesting choice to put on soft tire compounds. So, not 100% sure what's going on behind that strategy, but okay. Starfish and Fiend have equipped hards. And then Stone Shuffle also made a stop. He put on a new set of mediums. Now, the interesting thing is, the guy we were talking about earlier, Zola, is now your race leader, and his mediums are still relatively fresh compared to the 3 cars right behind him. So, this will get very interesting very quickly here, because Hazel's going to be cutting his way up through the field, and Zola will be trying to do his best to run away from him as well. Watching right now as the field is properly gathering back up. At the current rate, we're expecting we should be going green on lap 22. And Waddington is pitting out of the top 3. I'm not sure why he didn't try pitting earlier, but he's decided to pit now. And he will plummet deep down through the field. And they are putting on, in the Haas pit, they're putting on hard tires. I wonder if they're going to try and make those tires last to the end of the race or not.
Well, it is doable. There's 45 laps to go. It is doable for the hard to last to the end from this point in the race.
Terra Flavor is making a stop as well. So they're taking the hards off of his Mercedes and putting on a set of mediums. Collie Boy Boy's the real lucky one. He was able to keep from going a lap down simply because the leaders went ahead and made a stop. Well, he has not yet made a stop. So Boy back on the lead lap and will get a chance to catch the back of the field. Huge for him. So it took both McLarens crashing out in Q2 and then one of them crashing out in the first 5 laps in the race. But some luck is finally coming back in their favor.
So it doesn't look like the safety car's coming in on this lap at the moment, which allows Boy and Flavor to start catching back up.
I think you could probably go. Flavor might not be able to properly catch up, but I think Boy will catch them right about now-ish.
And
Boy's got time penalties. We'll still rather have a 3-second time penalty than, be a lap down, so. Alright, so it looks like we're going another lap under yellow, so I guess it's lap 23 that we're anticipating to go green under. And now Smoothie is electing to make a pit stop now. This is strange, because Waddington decided to make a stop late. Now Smoothie is doing the same thing. They both know it drops them way back through the grid to do it, but they're doing it here we go. Oh, Smoothie's trying to serve a time penalty now, so he doesn't have to do it in the race itself. Okay, that's clever enough, I guess.
And it looks like the mediums he's putting on, they're just a couple of laps on. It looks like that's the mediums that he used in qualifying.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking also. But he's about to catch the back. He'll catch the back of the field relatively quickly. Everyone who is still on track is still on the lead lap. Boy came very close to staying a lap down. He did go a lap down and very nearly stayed a lap down, but due to how pit stops have turned out, he is on the lead lap still. So it's going to be very interesting because technically all 16 of these drivers are still in the fight for the win. Although realistically, I think the battle is just going to be between Hazel and not making mistakes at this point in the event.
There we go. Safety car coming in this lap. We're a third of the way through the race. Zola in the lead, Ollie second, Anderson third, Low fourth, Hazel fifth, Starfish sixth, Theme seventh, 8, Calzona 9th, and level 6 Beastian rounding up the top 10. We'll see what Zola can pull on the restart.
Hopefully everyone will avoid making a stupid contact mistake in the chicane, because you want to exit that final chicane with a great run if you want to get a run on the person ahead. Coming to the green flag, Zola, Ollie, Anderson all have a relatively good run coming to the green. And Zola, who has now inherited the race lead.
The first safety car has definitely paid dividends for him.
Hazel on the inside of Lowe right now. Lowe can't make it stick on the outside, so Hazel with the fresh sauce moves up to fourth. Now he starts to put pressure on Mr. Anderson. Anderson's stepping wide as well, so here comes Hazel. Hazel's now going to be on the outside. Hazel's actually going to make 2 overtakes before we're even out of sector 2 on the first lap of the restart. So Hazel goes from 5th to 3rd as already closing on Ollie.
Absolutely fantastic work there from Hazel, but of course no DRS until 2 laps after the safety car restart. Hazel is going to try, this is going to be brave, outside of turn 10 for second place to try and get ahead of Ollie. That is very brave, but Ollie shuts the door. Not tonight, says Ollie. You're going to need to work harder than that to get past me.
Hazel's going to have to figure out some other way by. It's going to be a few laps until DRS kicks in. Laps are not... Hazel doesn't have laps he can lace behind somebody else. He needs to get by his Ferrari as fast as possible, otherwise he runs the risk of queuing the front tires out. He's right underneath the Ferrari on the straightaway here. Looks to the inside, the Ferrari blocks. Hazel back to the outside, neck and neck down the straightaway. Who's it gonna be?
Hazel goes wide. He has to give the position back. Really unlucky there for Hazel. He had the opportunity, overshot the braking point, and he had to go through the escape route to rejoin the track safely, and he had to give the position back as a result.
Very nearly slid off circuit there, out of 5. And that's brought Ollie right up to him, and Hazel is still right there, ready to capitalize. Hazel might have another shot on Ollie coming down the straightaway on the back. Oh, there's a stack up farther back.
Oh, there's
Waddington and Hurricane, both involved in an incident back there. Stay green for the moment, though.
Oh, here we go, Hazel into turn 13, I think. He had a look.
Oh, he has another look going into the chicane. And he's going to be faster exiting the chicane. He's going to be right behind Ollie's rear wing again. They're probably going to be side by side going down the street once more. DRS will be enabled on the backstretch, but I think Hazel wants to clear Ollie before that point. They're still side by side.
Oh, this is going to be anyone's guess. They're giving each other the room. But Hazel, he shoots through. Hazel into P2. Fantastic.
The soft tires are paying massive dividends for Hazel, and now his focus is going to go to Zola. Zola has worn mediums. Ollie has horribly worn mediums, but Zola's mediums are also worn, so I think Hazel might be able to come back from that pit stop and use the softs to jump into the lead and open up a massive gap on the rest of the field. This strategy honestly might work out for Hazel here.
The thing to bear in mind regarding the softs is that they don't last as long as the mediums or hards around here. You're probably looking at somewhere in the region of like 10 to 15 laps before they start losing performance, and then about 20 laps, and then it'll be a case that will be it.
Well, Hazel is now closed in within a quarter of a second of Zola, even less than that. So I think with a little bit of DRS on the straight, Hazel will easily walk by Zola on the front stretch.
But here we go.
Yep, this is going to be where it comes. 120.670.
This is when, not if, Hazel takes the lead now. He's got the DRS. There's nothing Zola can do to defend from that overtake. Hazel now back into the lead of the race.
While we're focusing on that, BCN had an incident there in Sector 3, but he's gotten back away without too much of an issue. Hazel already opening up a half-second benefit over Zola. If Hazel can open up a full second away from Zola, he can start running away from the field and just open a massive gap. Zola does a good job closing under braking, entering 5, but then Hazel starts opening the gap once more in 6, 7, and 8.
Lap 26.
So it looks like I think Zola's going to be just far enough away that he can't close in on Hazel with DRS, so it's kind of a shame. But Ollie is there, still behind Zola. And again, Ollie's tires are much, much older than Zola's right now. So interesting job on that Ferrari team at BCN. Another instant there. That car has gone completely sideways. It's going to take him a while to get back going again. So BCN, if this keeps up, he will be at threat of going a lap down. Mr. Anderson has elected to come into the pits to, I'm guessing they're repairing damage on that car. But he's going to drop out of the points-paying positions with this.
No, it's a simple pit stop. He's going for another set of mediums. That'll be a 2-stop for him to get to the end of the race, because he'll need to use it's like a compound. I would imagine he'll probably go for a set of softs towards the end.
Starfish has caught XRRL Fiend. Fiend was fighting for a lead. Now he's trying to stay in the top 5 against the Haas of Starfish. Both these cars have... Oh, and someone's just gone, and that's Dave Ewart, and he has spun that Red Bull completely there. 7 and 8. But it looks like he's going to get away without losing too many positions. anyways, Starfish is right there behind Fiend and is going to try overtaking both these cars running hard tire compounds, so they'll be out on track for a long time compared to your top 4. Hazel, 3 laps in a row, he has set fastest lap times. He just continues to just pull on the rest of the field. He's already opened up 2 seconds on Zola. Lowe is following Ollie and has DRS on Ollie, and Ollie is fighting with Zola for the moment. And again, I'm really impressed with Ollie because those mediums have nearly 30 laps on them. Zola's hasn't even hit 20 yet, and yet Ollie is seriously putting up a fight for second.
Yeah. And that's despite the fact that Ollie's tyres are 9 laps older than Zola's. And Calzona retired in the pits, I think. Why is he retired in the pits, though?
Could it have been a disconnect? Yeah, that is in the pits. It's a strange thing to retire in the pits, but I'm sure BCM won't complain too much because now it makes it a little bit easier for him to potentially still finish in the points. Lowe still there behind Ollie, and Ollie continues to put pressure on Zola. Hazel is going to have almost a 3.5, actually more than a 3.5 second gap over Zola at the line. The crazy thing is, though, Hazel, he's saying all these fast laps now. 119, so he's finally broken the 120 barrier. 4 laps in a row of fastest laps for Hazel. As Ollie is fighting Zola, they're going to be neck and neck. Ferrari versus Aston Martin. And the Ferrari's going to go by on the outside. On much older tires as well. I'm really impressed with that. But anyways, for Hazel, 4 laps in a row where he's saying the fastest lap of the race. But Hazel will have to pit at about the same time as these guys behind him. He has this advantage, but I'm not 100% sure how it will or won't work out for him as this race goes on. It's an interesting scenario because here's the thing. He really has to fight with Fiend and Starfish who are on hards and will likely have to make less stops in general. So, I don't know. Zola, time penalty.
Yeah, that's
Starfish continues to put pressure on Fiend farther back.
Yeah, that's Zola's first penalty of the day. And the fact that we're approaching half distance now. Ollie's still to make a stop.
They're saying on another lap, but Ollie is now opened up a 1.6 second gap on Zola. So now I'm starting to think that even with the fresher tires, Zola does not feel very comfortable in that Aston Martin, and that's one of the reasons why he may be losing positions to cars with much, much worse tires. Starfish has finally gotten by Fiend, going down, and Starfish goes around! Starfish got by Fiend going through turns 1 and 2, but lost the car and spun around exiting turn 2, and he'll now fall down to 7th position. A little bit farther back, Ryan Hurricane and A. Waddington are having a little fight of their own.
Oh, Starfish has had another off.
Take the position. Oh gosh, and that's right in front of these two. So it's going to be 2 Haas's and then 2 Alfa Romeos all on top of each other here from 10th to 13th at this rate. Oh, Starfish into the dirt, and that will let all 3 of those cars slip by. Mr. Anderson looking to the inside of Ryan Hurricane. Will he make it stick? He's going to try to. And yes, he will. Mr. Anderson will overtake Ryan Hurricane at the end of the 2nd straightaway. And Lowe has just gotten by Zola at the end of the main straight. So now Zola has slipped down to the 4th position. Oh, and Starfish is just DNF'd.
Oh, that is a real shame. What was that, though? Oh, that was the penultimate couple of corners.
Starfish.
That was the penultimate couple of corners, and that is another virtual safety car.
That's not what Hazel wanted to see, because that means that he can't continue to open up the gap. Granted, better virtual than a full course safety car, but still, Hazel would have wanted to continue to open the gap. I'll be interested to see if Hazel elects to take this chance to go ahead and jump into the pits to take off the soft tires or not, or if he'll try and make them last a few more laps. Because at this point, the driver that Hazel is fighting is Fiend, and Fiend is back there in 6th. He's now far enough back that Hazel can make the stop and not have to worry about losing a position to him. Will Hazel make the stop? No, Hazel's going to stay out another lap. What about Ollie? Ollie has 30 lap worn mediums. But I think Ollie might try. Yes, Ollie's going to pit now, and I'm going to guess that Ollie will probably throw on the hards. Lowe and Zola will both stay out, though. And Dave Ewart gets a drive-through penalty, speeding under a virtual safety car. And Dave was one of only 5 drivers left on the track who hadn't earned a penalty yet. This is not going to work out well for him. Oh, and Ryan Hurricane, and Fiend has just had an accident.
That's the main
and
straight.
Right in the middle of the track.
That's the main straight. That has to be a full safety car. Surely that's a full safety car.
They're not bringing out the full safety car, despite the fact that it's blocking the track. Flavor has nowhere to go. He has to get hard on the brakes to avoid it. Ryan Hurricane barely avoids it as well. And that's not a full course safety car for whatever reason. But I think that basically means, by default now, Hazel is going to win this race.
Unless he ends
Either
up...
Hazel or Ollie.
Unless Hazel ends up with a mistake of his own.
Yeah, good point, but... I'm going to try and get Fiend in here and see if he wants to share what happened out there. Alright, you're coming into pits now, coming into the party now is Fiend. Fiend, go ahead, include your audio. What happened that took you out of the race there?
Well, going round the final corner, I turned the overtake on a bit too early and I just lost it. So my setup was a little bit slidey anyway, so that's probably what happened with the hard tires as well.
It was a shame because it looked like you were one of maybe 2 guys that could actually take the fight to Hazel today. Now I have to turn the question. Do you think you're going to stay in this car going into the main points paid races themselves next week?
I'd like to. I like the car. I think I've got good pace, so see what happens, see what's announced. But yeah, that'd be good.
All right, well, we'll be looking forward to that in a week's time. It's a shame to see your race ended so early, though.
Cheers. It's all right. It's practice, innit? I know what to change for next time. So yeah, thanks.
Well, while we were talking with Fiend there, Lowe had a spin coming out of turn 2, and because of that, he has lost a top 10 berth to his teammate Dave Ewart now. And Collie Boy, who was a lap down earlier, has now fought his way up into the 6th position and might still be able to get 5th from Smoothie 25 here. Ollie, he pitted. When he pitted, he put on hards that will last him to the end of this race. He's currently about 27 seconds out from Hazel, though. Hazel, I think, still has the advantage because Hazel can elect to come in, throw on a set of mediums, and make those last to the end, and he'll be faster than Ollie throughout the rest of this race. So again, I think this is Hazel's race to lose. The interesting thing will be, where will Ollie come out in relation to Zola and Stone Shuffle when your 2nd and 3rd place cars eventually do pit? Again, Zola has been slow compared to the other people on track, but he's sticking with the tires and making them last.
Yeah, and while all that's been happening, Cooley Boy getting ahead of Smooth into 5th place made it look very easy down the main straight.
Collie Boy still has the advantage of running medium tires that haven't quite yet fallen out of the operational range, so he'll probably be closing in on Ollie. I don't think he'll be able to overtake that Ferrari, though, and Ollie just got a time penalty. Shame. So now, only Hazel, Mr. Anderson, and Dave Ewart, they're the only 3 drivers who do not have time penalties against them at this point in the event.
Indeed, but the big shame is, as far as the point system this year is concerned, is the fact that there's going to be no bonus points for finishing the race without any time penalties like it was last season. So if you're wanting points, you're going to need to work for them to get into the top 10, get pole
And Waddington's
position,
just
or
gone
get the
around.
fastest lap.
I personally think that's reasonable, because although it is an extreme challenge to finish the race without penalties, it's an extreme challenge that's not realistic. The track limits in these games aren't quite realistic compared to reality, just saying. Mr. Anderson has just swapped by Smoothie 25 for a 6th position, so it looks like Smoothie is now beginning to plummet through the grid just a bit, and Lowe has gotten back by Dave Ewart as well. Oh, and Lowe just twitched out into the dirt right in front of his teammate. And now Dave Ewart might have a chance to fight back on the run down to turn 4. He's not going to go for it. Not quite close enough to make it stick. Although Lowe runs wide and gives Ewart the space to make the move if he wanted to. It's not going to work out. Hazel has a 12-second lead over Zola right now. And again, I anticipate that Zola will probably pit at about the same time that Hazel will. So realistically, Hazel has roughly a 21-second lead over Stone Shuffle in 3rd. That's the person he's going to be fighting for a lead. And then for the win of the race, it's going to be Ollie. In that case, Hazel has nearly a 35-second, or something like that. No, not 35. Closer to 30-second lead over XRRL Ollie right now. So again, I think Hazel is going to walk off with this victory. The real fight's going to be who can just minimize mistakes and take second. Will it be Zola, Shuffle, or Ollie right now? Because I think Zola has a stronger pit strategy in mind, the one that you brought up earlier, Kenzie, the soft, medium strat. But he doesn't seem to have quite the same amount of pace that Ollie does. Dave Ewart is coming into the pits and has swapped on for a fresh set of hards, and he will make those hards last to the end of the race here. The downside though for Dave, he is now outside of the top 10. Level 6 Beastian is a lap down right now. Dave Ewart is going to have to be concerned about potentially going to land. Oh, Hazel's coming to the pits now.
Here we go.
So your race leader has finally come into the pits. Zola is staying out another lap. What about Stone Shuffle? This will give Beastian the chance to get back on the lead lap, so I'm sure he will greatly appreciate that. Stone Shuffle is staying out, and then Ollie obviously has tires that he will stay on for the rest of the race. But Hazel is already emerging back onto the race course. He's going to be just barely ahead of Stone Shuffle, I imagine. Shuffle will have the advantage of having already warm tires, but he's not close enough. So Hazel only lost 1 position. So yeah, Hazel in a perfect position to just walk off with this win. He only has to make those tires last about 30 laps, and we've seen drivers being able to do that earlier today. So yeah, Hazel pretty much has this race in the bag at this point. The fight is going to be between Zola, Stone Shuffle, and Ollie for the 2nd, 3rd, and 4th positions now.
And I've said it before and I'll say it again. All it's going to take is one mistake to just change the course of the race and the results.
That is a very fair point. But I'm also not the kind of person who likes to hedge their bets on a mistake happening. It's not, even though it's a little bit more common now with the weird handling model in this game, it's still, when the best get up front, they don't typically make mistakes. So I don't normally hedge my bets on that kind of thing happening. Mr. Anderson is closing in on Collie Boy. Anderson taking advantage of relatively fresh mediums compared to Collie Boy, has 21 laps on his own. So we could see a little bit of a fight there in a short period of time. I don't think Anderson was close enough to get DRS on Collie Boy coming on the main straight this time. But he will have the advantage. Oh no, he was close enough to DRS actually. But he should be even closer in a lap's time. So we may see that overtake for 5th in another lap's time. And again, Mr. Anderson, one of only 3 drivers at this point who do not have time penalties against him. Dave Ewart and Hazel being the other 2. And Dave Ewart, Oh, and TIR Flavor has just gone off circuit there. That's the same place you went off a few times earlier, Kenzie. Well, I hate to say it, but this is a sadly familiar sight with both of the Mercedes running up the back of the field. They're not out of the race yet, but neither of them are in points-paying positions right now. It's not looking very good for them. Again, like last season.
Yeah, it's just been, it's just, even with the slowest drivers in what's meant to be the fastest car in the game, even with that, they still not able to make the results count.
Hazel is going back to saying fastest laps of the day, a 119 flat just then.
Yeah, but the thing, the key thing with that is it wasn't just a 119 flat, it was a 119.0 right on the nose. 119.000. Not very often we see a lap like that.
At this rate, I think Hazel might actually catch Zola on the racetrack unless Zola elects to pit the next lap or so. In fact, right on board with Hazel, you can see Zola right in front of him. And then even more frustrating is that he can see TIR Flavor and Level 6 Beastian ahead. So those two Mercedes... Oh, and Beastian just went around!
Oh dear, oh dear.
And that is a full course safety car.
Oh, this...
Well, one man's tragedy is another man's fortune. This keeps TIR Flavor on the lead lap, but Beastian is now trapped a lap down with massive front wing damage. And for Ollie, this is perfect because it brings him right up to the lead. Zola is going to pit to take off those worn tires, and Ollie is now going to be right there behind Stone Shuffle and Hazel.
The question is, how far is Zola going to drop back? He's going to stay second for the time being because Stone Shuffle's in. Beastian's in as well. That's it. Zola's going to keep second place. This safety car has worked. The timing of that safety car couldn't be more perfect for Zola. This has just brought him right into contention for the race win.
Mr. Anderson is going to come up into third now because he elected not to pit. But everyone else outside of Hazel and Mr. Anderson in the top 9 have decided to pit. Brian Hurricane's still too far back to really tell, but this is going to get interesting. Ollie went ahead and put on mediums, so he seems to believe that he will be faster on mediums that he can push to the end of the race rather than the hards. And he's probably right. But now Ollie still has to deal with Stone Shuffle ahead of him. He still has to deal with Mr. Anderson, still has to deal with Zola. Hazel has only 3 clean air ahead, so I still think this race will go in Hazel's favor. Ryan Hurricane coming into the pits as well. He will take off those 31 lap hards, and they'll probably put on a set of mediums after he serves this time penalty. Yep, that's exactly what he's putting on. TIR Flavor is going to stay out. It's not very often you get a chance to stay on the lead lap like this, so he is absolutely going to take it. He'll probably catch the back of the field before electing to make a stop. As Ryan Hurricane now falls to 12th. And Level 6 Beastian, he is a lap down. Rough for him, but his incident might keep TIR Flavor in the points depending on how things play out. For Mr. Anderson, though, this is going to be very, very aggravating. Oh, no, here it comes. So Anderson's coming into the pits now. So I realized that was not a great idea. The field's not fully gathered up. So he'll still lose positions, but not a lot. I think he'll still stay in the top 10. But this brings Stone Shuffle and Ollie a little bit closer to Hazel. Here's the interesting thing. Stone Shuffle is on hards, as is Collie Boy, Mr. Anderson, and Smoothie. So all 4 of those cars seem to think that they can't make softs last a full 26 laps to the end. Or at least not do it at a competitive rate. So Mr. Anderson will stay ahead of Smoothie, so Mr. Anderson comes out in 6th. They're still not fully gathered back up. It's going to take a long time for the entire field to get gathered up. To put things in perspective, TIR Flavor and Level 6 Beastian were both just about to go a lap down. Then Beastian spun and hit the inside wall right in front of the leader, and that brought out the safety car. So Flavor is basically having to make up an entire another lap under the yellow. And then I'm sure once Flavor does catch the back of the field, he will still pit irregardless just to get fresher tires on that Mercedes. So he will fall back to the 12th position, but still, being able to stay on the lead lap will be imperative if he wants any chance of getting... Well, that's the other thing. This isn't an actual points-paying race, but we're treating it a lot like one. So, if you want to be in the points-paying positions, it's imperative for him to stay on the lead lap, realistically. Dave Ewart and XRRL both have worn tires, as does Hazel. The interesting thing is going to be Zola has not been very fast, but he's on slightly fresher tires than Hazel. Stone Shuffle has fresh tires, but they're hard, so they're not going to be as fast as neither of the two guys ahead. It's Ollie, I think, who really is the only guy who has a serious chance to fight for the win, but he's still back there in the 4th position. And then Collie Boy, the McLaren driver, he was a lap down earlier. He has rebounded all the way up into the 5th position, so luck has finally come the way of the McLarens today. And TIR Flavor will elect to make his pit stop now.
Just as a follow-on for Collie Boy there, what a recovery drive he's had.
If he can keep this together and just stay in the top 5 by the end of this race, I would go ahead and say driver of the day. But there's still a third of this race left to go. And Mr. Anderson there at 6, he could have been a little bit higher if he elected to pit as soon as the pit lane opened, but he stayed out another lap, interestingly enough, and he's lost a little bit. He's still in a relatively good position, though. And Smoothie 25, he's back there in the 7th position. XRRL is 8th. And Lowe has slightly worn mediums. Waddington is in 9th with mediums. And Dave Ebor has hards that will easily last him to the end of this race. Right, we've already talked about both Ryan Hurricane, TIR Flavor. There's the word. Safety car will come in this lap, and Level 6 BC has fallen to the back of the grid, so he does not impede anyone else. I don't know if TIR Flavor is going to be able to properly catch up to the back of the field by the time they get to the green flag. I don't think it will happen. But he'll be relatively close, and it will help him a lot more in his quest to stay on the lead lap here.
Indeed. So just a quick recap. We're going to be on lap 43. Hazel leads, Zola second, Stone Shuffle, Ollie, Coley Boy, Anderson, Smooth, Low, Warrington, Dave, Hurricane, Flavor, and Level 6 Beastian. That's the running order heading on to lap 43. Zola deploying his ERS. Hazel trying to defend the position, trying to defend the race lead. Zola going to try and have a late lunge into turn 1. He's
making it stick.
Not quite. Hazel stays in the lead for the time being.
Hazel had a little bit of a bobble putting the power down coming out of the final corner, and that's what gave the door, let the door open just enough for Zola to pull alongside, but Zola could not keep the car alongside your race leader, Hazel. A little bit farther back, Ryan Hurricane is there behind Dave Ewart, who's behind Waddington, who's behind Smoothie. So all 4 of these guys all on top of each other. Waddington very aggressive against Smoothie right now as they're coming up onto the back straightaway. A little bit of contact. Waddington goes to the outside against Smoothie, and he will get the position on the outside. Will he be able to hold it through this 90-degree corner? Yes, he does.
That's great. A great move from Warrington, gets himself into 8th place. And now the field's starting to somewhat spread itself back out again.
Ollie, another time penalty for track violations. And that coupled with the fact that Hazel has no time penalties. Again, I've said several times before, I'll say it again. I think Hazel has this race in the bag. He's already opened up nearly a 2-second gap on Zola alone. Ryan Hurricane looking to the inside of Dave Ewart, going down the main straightaway there for 10th, but couldn't get alongside of him. So for for now, and Alfa Romeo is going to have to settle with an 11th place position.
Ollie trying to keep within their touching distance of Stone Shuffle for third place, but of course we've got to take the penalties into account as well. Lowe gets past Anderson. Meanwhile, it's 2/3 of the way through the race, and Stone Shuffle's gone! Oh no, that's him! That's Stone Shuffle's race over. He's still in the race somehow, but he sustained a lot of damage. He's lost his front wing completely. There it is, no front wing whatsoever. Ollie is breathing a huge sigh of relief. He's now into third.
Zola also would breathe a sigh of relief as well, because Stone Shuffle is the most likely driver, I think, to get by him, simply because of the nature of the circuit. Now, Zola may be able to walk out here with a top 3 position, irregardless, because Collie doesn't seem to be closing in. DRS has been enabled, and no one in the top 3 is close enough to get DRS on each other. In fact, you have to go all the way back to, I think you're going to have to go back to like 5th or 6th to see people who can start getting DRS on each other. We won't see DRS until they come into the pits. Also, with Stone Shuffle having to come into the pits to repair that wing damage, he runs the risk of maybe going a lap down before this race is over, and advances TIR Flavor back into it. Dave Ewart has had an incident. And he's not the only one. TIR Flavor, no, that's Beastian, and...
Oh, that's turns 1 and
Dave
2.
Ewart, they've had independent spins of each other on the circuit there in turns 1 and 2.
Deary me, can this day get any worse for the Mercedes team?
I mean, yeah, it could. They could both DNF right now, and they haven't, thankfully. I don't remember, is the fastest lap of the day point award to only the top 10 in the current format, or is it the entire field right now?
It will still be the same fastest lap format. It will be a point for the fastest lap inside the top 10, and a point for the fastest lap outside the top 10.
Alright, so for right now, I think Stone Shuffle might have the advantage because he just put on soft tires. He'll probably be putting on some flyer laps coming to the end then. So he could probably go ahead and make another stop for softs with about 9 laps to go and do the same thing just to prevent the Mercedes from doing anything against him. Again, Stone Shuffle's been a top 5 driver most of the day as well. So, yeah, I think Stone Shuffle might have that point wrapped up in his favor. Well, Mr. Anderson is there behind Collie Boy, and Collie Boy is closed in just a little bit on XRL Low. Waddington is behind both of them. But right now, at this point in the race, the medium tires will have the advantage over the hards. We won't see the mediums start falling off in relation to the hards until about the last, I don't know, what, 7, 8 laps of the event, maybe?
Possibly.
Most of the battles at this point in the race have pretty much settled down. There is still Mr. Anderson stalking Collie Boy and Ryan Hurricane behind both of them. With the way that penalties are stacking up right now, Ryan Hurricane doesn't really have a way to get by either of them. It's all going to be Anderson against Collie Boy, and then what can Waddington do against them. Here comes Anderson. He has DRS against Collie Boy down the straightaway. And Ollie has just gotten by Zola on the track as well. I missed that. But now the Ferrari is up into second position. Anderson, Collie Boy still neck and neck. Anderson gets the position over the McLaren. Now Waddington, the Haas looks to the outside to make a little bit of contact. The Haas has to step a little bit wide to save the car. He was able to make it stick, and now Waddington lives to fight another day against Collie Boy.
And talking of Collie Boy, he has a look at Anderson for 5th place. I don't think he's able to make anything of it. This is a great 3-way scrap here for 5th place.
Might want to consider backing out just a little bit here so he doesn't run to the back of the McLaren. Screw that, he's going to go alongside of him almost, going into turn 9 as they pull onto the back straightaway. Well, this time Collie Boy has no problem keeping the car straight. He deploys DRS as a defense against Waddington and to close in on Anderson. Waddington trying to make an overtake anywhere on track they can get alongside. He's alongside him now at the top of Sector 3, and he's by him. Waddington sneaks by Collie Boy.
I think this is definitely the point in the race where the mediums are the more optimum tyre to be on.
Ooh, Waddington, huge dive to the inside of Anderson, and he'll get him. So Waddington goes from 7th to 5th in about a lap. Outstanding moves on his part.
It's a very brave overtaking maneuver there from Waddington, but it definitely paid off for him. And you've got to think with such a brave maneuver, you've got to think it's going to give him a fair chunk of momentum to try and hunt low down for fourth place.
Also of note is that Waddington has slightly fresher tires than Lowe, so that battle will work out in Waddington's favor, assuming the Haas doesn't end up being caught behind Lowe for a long period of time and it tears up the front tires. But and Collie Boy's just gone around. And he had been having such a good day, and now he has to try and merge back onto the track safely. He's still in the top 10 for the moment, and I don't see any wing damage, but he has fallen from a potential 5th all the way down to 9th. And he spins again, and he's still in the racetrack. I think Dave's going to sneak by, and Dave spins to avoid him!
No. Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear.
Well, okay.
That just
Well,
happened.
the guy that's really benefits is TIR Flavor, because now Flavor's going to close in on both of them, and he might have a chance of overtaking either Collie Boy or Dave Ewart, depending on how that goes. Well, that was a cavalcade comedy there. And Collie Boy has to pit. So, I don't see wing damage, but I'm guessing the tires are cooked. So now, one of the Mercedes are back in the points-paying positions.
He does come in. Is he going to go for softs? Indeed he does.
Probably stick with that set of softs to the end. They'll be a little bit iffy by the end of the race, but I think you could probably push the softs on to last 17 laps. But Stone Shuffle's not going to be happy with that, because Collie Boy will have the ability, again, if we're fighting for points, Stone Shuffle will now have to fight with Collie Boy for fastest lap of the day. And now Collie Boy also isn't going to like that, because now he's the next most likely driver to go a lap down. Again. Oh, and Dave! Huge crash on the back straightaway! And he's not the only one. There's a Mercedes. That's TIR Flavor.
Careful!
He just went in the wheel. Oh!
He's gone!
Beastian was swerving all over the track, and Flavor had to avoid and went right into the inside wall, and that's a full course safety car.
Level 6 Beastian, what were you doing?
Well, this keeps Collie Boy on the lead lap, as does also for Stone Shuffle. What the heck was Beastian doing? I don't understand that. Was he trying to force a yellow?
Oh, if he is, that is definitely going to be a ban for him without a doubt. And it'll be a disqualification on top of that.
Well, Dave Ewart selected to use this as a chance to pit. Stone Shuffle is coming into the pits to get another set of tires, but he also took a little bit of damage because he was the first one to go sideways and hit the wall. Hazel, your race leader just got a penalty for speeding under the safety car. That's bullcrap. We've seen this before in X3. This is not supposed to happen. He did not. He is the leader. His entire goal is to catch the safety car. So he couldn't have gotten a penalty for speeding under the safety car when they haven't even caught the safety car yet. That's not how it works, game. Hazel, who has been dominant this entire race, is just going to have this entire race stolen from him due to the game being completely retarded.
And now the game's just put him on 17-lap old soft tires. Unless he's run out of fresh softs, that is... Oh my word.
Well, now Ollie will end up in the lead because everyone is pitting and putting on fresh softs. And Hazel has worn softs and has a drive-through penalty.
That is a massive 1-2 punch that he really didn't need. The drive-through penalty was bad enough. And like
I'm gonna be 100%. Yeah, putting on the worn softs isn't gonna help him. I think that alone would have cooked his race. But Hazel, there's no need for him to get that drive-through penalty. He is the leader. When the yellow flag comes out, his only duty is to catch up to the back of the safety car.
But he's got to stick to the delta at the same time, though.
The delta to what? He's the leader.
Well, regardless of what we think of the whole fiasco, I think that's it. I think that's Hazel's race over.
Yeah, agreed, because Hazel will have to get off those worn softs somehow. And that's going to plummet him back to about 8th, maybe even 9th or 10th.
Here he comes.
Yeah, he's coming in now, so he'll take those tires off now. And he has set fastest lap after fastest lap after fastest lap all day today.
And there it is. There's the fresh softs that he's been needing.
But he has to do a drive-through irregardless. And when he does the drive-through, as he merges back onto the track at 9th, he'll do the drive-through and will end up likely outside of the top 10. I think he'll be dead last. So, for all intents and purposes, I think Hazel is going to be out of the points altogether unless he can take another fastest lap for outside of the top 10.
I think realistically that's the only thing he can go for at this point.
Yeah. He'll probably be able to get by Beastie without issue, but Stone Shuffle's been relatively good at defense most of the day. Here comes Dave Ewart. He's coming out of turn 4 into 5 now, so he will join the field real quickly, as will Stone Shuffle on level 6 Beastie. I'm still very curious. I only saw the back half, the latter half of the incident. I saw Stone Shuffle sliding into the inside wall and kind of pancaked it with the side of the car, and he took wind damage. And I saw Beastian veering sideways right in front of his teammate TIR Flavor. And Flavor tried his best to avoid. He went off the circuit, and Beastian just kept coming across at him and clipped Flavor, and Flavor went right into the inside wall. And it ended his race. And it's a shame because Flavor, it was an outside chance, but Flavor had a chance to get points today. Or what would have been points if this was the points paying event. Well, pace car is going to come in. So now it's Ferrari, Aston Martin, and Red Bull in the podium positions. And Waddington could be in a great spot because he is 4th with no time penalties against him. And he's been very aggressive on restarts. As we're coming to the green flag with 14 to go. Low penalty for a collision with Zola, apparently.
Oh, that could
But Zola
be
moving on Ollie right now. On the outside of the Ferrari, can he make it stick? He does. So Zola goes to the top. Ollie's gonna have to find a way back by, and all he does, he goes back on the inside through 3. Now on the run down to 4. They're neck and neck. Who's gonna take it?
Oh dear, that is not what Hazel needed. He tried to come in to serve his drive-through penalty, but instead it's put him onto another set of soft tires, so he's going to need to come back in again.
Oh, Zola looks to the inside of Ollie. It's not an area on the track where you want to be trying to make overtake Zola. But they've just exchanged the lead about 3 times on this first lap on the restart alone. Everyone is on soft tires. Strategy is completely out the window right now. Oh, and Lowe just getting right to the back of Zola. Now Lowe's fighting back on the inside. Zola's been pushed wide, and the Red Bull's going to try and sneak through. Can he make it stick? Oh, they make contact, and they spin it!
Zola's on the podium!
Waddington is only 3/10 out from Lowe. There's a serious chance that Waddington might be able to win this race if he can get by Lowe and then chase up to
4 laps to go after this one. As long as Warrington can stay in whatever penalty window he needs to, as long as he can stay within that window, he might steal himself a race win. And what a moment that would be for him.
I'm looking real quickly. I'm going to change the detail from tire life to penalties. Ollie, 9 seconds of penalties. Lowe has 8 seconds. So as it stands right now, Waddington would walk out of here with this win. But again, the longer and longer Ollie and Lowe are out there, the more and more they're likely to open the gap against the Haas. So Lowe needs to charge after Waddington needs to charge after Lowe as fast as possible. But yeah, Waddington could seriously walk out of here with a potential win.
Yeah, absolutely. But you got to bear in mind, you've got Smooth and Anderson that are behind as well. And they don't have any penalties either.
DRS has just been enabled, so we'll start seeing them shortly. Low, fastest lap, 118.483. So the Red Bull in second is trying to muster a charge against the Ferrari in the lead. Anderson is right there behind Waddington, going to take the fight to him. I don't think Zola's going to be very happy with what happened with Lowe there. I'm just saying, Lowe was faster than Zola, but he was really muscling it up in sections of the track that you're not really supposed to go side by side through. And so I will say this, I think Lowe got a little bit lucky. That was Zola who got spun and not Lowe in that event.
I think the word frustrated wouldn't even come close to how Zola's feeling right now.
True, but I like to pretend at least that this is a PG-13 stream. Look at that! Oh, another huge crash, and that's Beastian! A humongous accident coming onto the back straightaway.
Did he collect Zola though? No, he didn't.
No, he did not. I saw the Red Bull of Dave Ewart get sideways, and then something happened to Beastian, and that Mercedes kicked right into the inside wall. But somehow he is still on track and still going.
Oh, I think Lowe's had enough. I think Lowe's had an incident there. That's allowed Warrington to catch up by some margin.
The thing is, Waddington doesn't have DRS on Lowe yet. He will very shortly and might be able to use that to get by the Red Bull.
10 laps to go.
Lowe's already trying to open the gap back up against Waddington. Waddington will want to hold on to the rear wing of Lowe by any means necessary. If he can do that, he can utilize the DRS as a defense against Mr. Anderson behind. Hazel, fastest lap, 117.834. So yeah, there's no doubt about it. Hazel is the fastest driver on the racetrack still.
Warrington staying within DRS range here. He's going to be able to close the gap, but he's not going to be able to do anything as far as be able to make the overtake is concerned, but he might be able to do it down the main straight.
I don't think so. It looks like Lowe's a little bit faster and a little bit more consistent through the corners, unless Lowe has another mistake that backs him up to Waddington. Lowe, another time penalty, 11 seconds
As
now.
we say that.
But again, Waddington is somewhat going up against Lowe, but Waddington also has an outside chance at winning this race if he can just stay within 9 seconds of Ollie. And his best way of doing that would be to either be in Lowe's DRS, which he is right now, or get in front of Lowe for good and just try to keep up with Ollie on pure pace. If Lowe starts getting away from Waddington, Waddington's chance of winning this race on penalty countback will basically evaporate.
Lowe is actually starting to lose ground to Ollie now. The gap's now up to 4.1 seconds. Small lock up there.
Hurricane looked for a move against Mr. Anderson there.
Lowe's gone! Out of the race! And
that car is completely destroyed. Well, Zola will definitely be laughing as he goes by that Aston Martin, that Red Bull wreck. This promotes Zola up into 9th, and Hazel will be back into the top 10 now.
Oh dear. This is
Waddington.
This is more like a
Waddington
demolition
earned the time
derby.
penalty. Waddington earned the time penalty trying to avoid that car. So now Waddington needs to stay within 6 seconds of Ollie, and the gap right now is 5.6. So that may have given Waddington an easy second, but effectively taken him out of the fight for the race win.
Unless Ollie picks up another penalty or two later down the road. There's 8 laps to go, and Anderson almost side by side with Waddington for second place. And the crucial thing here as well,
XRRL low in here.
the crucial thing here as well now is that because Anderson has penalties, he could be the one that potentially gets the race win now.
But again, Anderson needs to be within 9 seconds of Ollie, and right now he is 7 seconds and some change out. And there's still 8 laps to go. I'm not saying it can't happen, but Anderson needs to get by Waddington immediately if he wants to make it happen. Also, Smoothie25 is in a decent position. He is running 5th. The driver right in front of him, Ryan Hurricane, has a bunch of time penalties, and he might be able to take time off of Waddington as well, depending on how this all filters out. So this is going to be one of those classic XRL finishes where time penalties mean that we don't really know who's where until after everyone's crossed the line.
Here we go. Waddington trying to break the slipstream on Anderson. Anderson's got DRS.
Not close enough to make a move unless he wants to do a bonsai dive on the outside. He's not going to go for it, but he's going to try and have a better exit. Out of 2, can't make it stick. Collie Boy, another time penalty for him. It's going to continue to harm him his day.
Right, but hey ho diddly do, look who's decided to join the party because of Waddington holding Anderson up. Hurricane and Smooth and Collie Boy, they've all decided to join the party. They want a piece of the action.
Big element that's going to come into play here is who has what time penalties and how much will they affect each other. But right now, the driver who's really happy about this is Ollie. Ollie just needs to continue to hit all the marks right in these last 7 laps, and he will cruise to a win here. Ooh, Collie Boy very nearly hits the back of Smoothie under braking there. I think he misjudged the amount of draft that he was getting going down the straight with the DRS help. But he's holding on to 6th for the moment. Also, Stone Shuffle has recovered up to 7th at this point as well.
This is gonna be
Mr. Anderson, DRS against Waddington going down the straight once more.
He's a lot closer this time. I think he's going to make it stick this time. Yes, he does. There he goes. Anderson into second place. Now he can start hunting Ollie down.
The gap right now is 7.5 seconds from Ollie to Anderson. Anderson cannot afford to let that gap grow anymore if he wants a chance at this victory. The gap is now 8 seconds. Almost 8 seconds.
He needs to keep within that 9-second window with 6 laps to go after this.
It's bouncing around 8 seconds at the moment. Waddington is still right there, willing to put pressure. And that's the other thing. Anderson will not have DRS anymore. He has to do all of this on pure ability and timing through the corners. Waddington, Hurricane, and Smoothie behind him can all be aggressive as they want against him. I think everyone outside of the top 2 realize they're not in a fight for this race win. They just want position.
Especially Smooth. Smooth could potentially see himself onto the podium.
Gap hanging at about 8 seconds going down the straightaway. Waddington closing in with the DRS, but not close enough to make a move going into 1.
6 to go. It is. Oh. Fasten your seatbelts, folks.
The gap is slowly expanding. But Ollie needs to keep putting down laps comparable to qualifying laps, and it's going to be very hard to do that because at this point in the race, the soft tires are going to be falling off a bit. Here we are. Hurricane is fighting back against Waddington. That's good for Anderson, though. Oh, and BC in another incident there. Oh, he's way off circuit. There's no front wing whatsoever. And he might end up merging right in front of the race leader.
got plenty of distance between himself and the race leader, though.
Okay, yeah, it doesn't look like BC will hold up Ollie too much. Unless...
Nope,
yeah,
there
he
he
didn't
goes.
hold him up too much.
He's having to come into the pits anyway.
The gap right now is at 8.7 seconds. It's just gradually growing. I think Ollie has this if he can just keep the pace up. Even though Anderson has clean air in front, he has to spend so much time defending against the Haas behind him that he can't do anything. There it is. It's over 9 seconds for the moment. And that means that as it stands right now, unless Ollie gets another time penalty, this race will go to Ollie for the win here.
Absolutely, yeah, I think the gap's now 9.6. All Ollie has to do is just close to the finish now.
Oh, Ryan Hurricane! He's there on the outside of Waddington. Alfa Romeo versus Haas. And it's going to be on the outside. It's still Waddington. Hurricane has the room there, but not enough of one. So for the moment, Waddington holds the spot.
This is a great battle for that last podium position, because it looks like Anderson is going to keep that second place as it stands.
Smoothie is right there. He has DRS on the cars ahead, so as long as he stays right behind them, he's going to inherit third position on penalty countback. Oh wow, this is going to be really tight for me because the other race I'm doing is just about to start qualifying.
Oh boy.
Oh wow, so I'm going to be leaving this race, immediately trying to change over Twitch accounts after interviewing the winner, and then immediately have to kick up another broadcast. The long 30-minute delay early on did not help us whatsoever. Ooh, Waddington trying to do crossovers against Mr. Anderson. He's not been able to make him stick yet. Ryan Hurricane is there, ready to capitalize. If one of these second or third place cars have an accident, this would help Hurricane significantly. It's 4 laps to go at the moment. Zola has also recovered all the way up into 8th position at this point in the race. He had a potential top 5, and 8th won't be great for him, but it's better than crashing out like Lowe did. So I'm sure in the karmic balance at least, Zola will be relatively pleased with where he is. Right now at the back of Mr. Anderson, as Waddington once again will have DRS against the Alfa Romeo going down the straightaway. The gap is closed. 3 tenths, 2 tenths. Waddington dives to the inside, neck and neck, and he easily overtakes the Alfa Romeo. The other Alfa of Hurricane comes to the inside of Anderson. Will he be able to make it stick? They're still side by side, and it looks like Anderson, in the breath of air, goes from 2nd to 4th. He doesn't have time penalties. Oh, and Davey and BC both just have spins in Sector 3. But Anderson has now fallen to 4th, and now Waddington needs to get at least 3 seconds away from Anderson if Waddington wants to hold on to 2nd position. Smoothie 25 is still there in 5th, and he might be able to overtake Anderson. If he does, that would be for an actual position.
Yeah, there's 3 laps to go though. I don't see only picking up another penalty or 2 towards the end of the race now. He's got a 12-second gap, and even if he were to pick up a
Ryan
penalty
Hurricane made a mistake. Ryan Hurricane made a big mistake, and that brought Mr. Anderson right underneath the rear wing of the Alfa.
Yeah, Anderson could see himself back into 2nd place if things go his way. And no, there's Hurricane! Hurricane spotted! Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear. Anderson back into 3rd place.
Smoothie just up by Anderson! Anderson had to back out to avoid his teammate, and now Smoothie goes up into 3rd. And Waddington now has a 2-second gap almost on Smoothie, so Waddington might still be able to walk out of here with 2nd. And Davey Ward has had an accident on the back straightaway, and there's significant front wing damage on that car. Oh, no, actually no front wing damage. That was just bad lighting. Never mind.
Oh, dear. Penultimate lap regardless. And Ollie, with that huge gap, despite the penalties, is more likely than not going to walk away with the race win tonight.
Yeah, but this battle for second, third, and fourth is not even close to being over, because Anderson is closing in, or at least trying to close in on Smoothie, and Smoothie needs to just be within 3 seconds of Waddington. Smoothie is not close enough to Waddington to get DRS, and if Anderson starts fighting with Smoothie, that might be all Waddington needs to hold on to second.
And of course, he needs to make up another 1.2 seconds on Smoothie to guarantee that he stays on the podium. He's got 2 seconds now, 2.4 to Anderson. But Anderson's got DRS now. He doesn't have much in the way of battery to be able to make any sort of impact to make the overtake for third place without taking a penalty count back into the equation. I don't think it's going to be enough for Anderson to get ahead into third place. He might get onto the podium if he stays within that 3-second window of Waddington, though.
Yeah, that's the other thing. Anderson might be just close enough to Waddington to still get third. It's going to be very close. Yeah, this is not working out for Waddington. That Haas seems to be good on the straightaways, but in the corners, he is not competent enough to open up the gap. Smoothie has actually closed the gap down just a bit against Waddington. Oh, and Davey Ward, another accident on the circuit, and that's right in front of your race leader, but I don't think it's going to matter.
Yeah, because here comes Ollie, just the final chicane and the last corner to go. It is going to be a great start, a great end to preseason for him. He wins the Spanish Grand Prix here, but now we wait and see who's going to get onto that podium. I don't think
Waddington,
Waddington...
1.7, 1.8 seconds over Smoothie.
I don't think it's going to be enough.
Across the line.
It's
Smoothie
not enough.
Dumps
He's
him,
booted
and
off the
Anderson
podium.
dumps him.
Smooth second,
Yep.
Anderson third. That's your podium.
Stone Shuffle will regain fifth. Collie Boy recovers from going a lap down to finish sixth. Ryan Hurricane will be eighth because he apparently slowed down enough to let Zola get by him. And Hazel, fastest car all day today, will be seventh. Hazel will actually jump Zola and Hurricane due to not having penalties. Dave Ewart will come home in 10th, and Beastian will be 11th. But it's the Ferrari team who takes home another victory. Everything is better with a Ferrari win, and today it's XRRL Ollie who brings the colors of red into victory lane today. That was a nutty race. Yeah, that's all I have to say. That was a nutty race. I enjoyed that, though. For a Catalunya event, that was way better than most Catalunya events, just saying.
I would definitely say it was, without a doubt, one of the more chaotic races that we've seen.
I don't know if Ollie's going to join us in the booth or not. If he doesn't do it in like the next 5 minutes, I'm going to have to get off very, very quickly to get swapped over for broadcasting on my personal account for OSRL. But anyways, there's your podium. It's a Ferrari, Aston Martin, and Alfa Romeo top three. A very interesting podium considering that, you know, at some points the Alfas, Romeos weren't even in points earning positions. So very, very interesting. And Ollie really capitalized, though. I have to say this really quickly. Hazel should have had this race won, but between having to make 4 different stops upon 4 different sets of soft tires and the drive-through penalty, Hazel got kind of booted unfairly out of what should have been an easy win for him. But there is your end race result. Hazel, fastest lap of the day with a 1:17.834. That would have been a competitive lap in Q1. Ollie with a 1:18.495. Smoothie with a 1:19.251. That really showcases the difference in time. Anderson came home 3rd. Waddington 4th. Stone Shuffle 5th. Collie Boy 6th. Hazel 7th. Zola 8th. Ryan Hurricane 9th. Davey Wart 10th. Beastian, the only driver outside the top 10 to finish this race. Low 12th. TIR Flavor 13th. XRL Fiend 14th. 15th goes to Elephant Starfish. 16th is Calzoner. 17th is Ozda. 18th is Sasha Andre. 19th is Gabe Escon. 20th is XRRL Raptor. Okay, that was nutty. I need to start preparing for the other, unless you have anything else you want to say on your end, Kenzie.
I genuinely cannot add anything else to that.
That was... Yeah, I'm going to start getting everything set up to cross over. But anyways, tomorrow at 5 p.m. UK time on the main channel, this channel, Kinsey will be doing broadcasting for X1, and I on the alternate channel will be doing broadcasting for X3. And then at 8 p.m. UK time, it will be X2. I don't know who's broadcasting X2. We'll get to you on that at a later time. But until then, sayonara and farewell. I'm not even going to play the exit music. I have